Juan, before we move on with our first segment, you have an interesting column in the New York Daily News today about the Treasury Department approving huge paydays for execs from firms that actually receive TARP bailout money.
Yeah, you know, I was shocked that this got very little attention earlier this week when the Inspector General for the TARP program released this audit. The audit showed that as many as 49 executives at a handful of firms that received the biggest bailouts received from $5 million and up in compensation approved by the special master that the Treasury Department appointed, Kenneth Feinberg, to review executive compensation. And we're talking about the firms that got the largest payouts, including AIG, General Motors, the largest bailouts. And AIG was by far the worst. In fact, Feinberg told the auditors that that company represented 80% of his headaches over the past few years. The most interesting part of the audit, though, I thought, was that Feinberg reported that the Treasury Department and officials at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York were regularly pressuring him to increase the pay of these bailed out firms. Now, understand, AIG was 90% owned by the federal government after receiving $180 billion in bailouts. It is still 70% owned by the taxpayers. And yet the CEO of AIG, Robert Ben-Moshe, received $10.5 million in 2009, $10.5 million in 10, and $10.5 million in 2011, including $3 million cash every year, even though Congress and President Obama had said they were going to limit executive pay to $500,000 a year. And the one
CEO of Ally Financial, you quote?
Yes, at one point the CEO of Ally Financial complained that one of his executives was being reduced from $1 million to $500,000 a year, and he said that that executive would be made cash poor because he had a couple of kids in private school and he wouldn't be able to meet his monthly bills on a salary of only $500,000 a year. And these are the kinds of abuses that have taxpayers furious. Here are people, millions of people losing their homes, losing their jobs, and these executives who have received federal money, bailouts, are demanding these enormous salaries and getting them, despite the limits that were supposed to be placed by the Treasury Department.